Hey guys, how are you doing? Today, I'm not going to go through in details for ARM's performance, right? Because if like that, then it may take about 25 minutes. So I'll have a brief on that and leave the details to the Hong Kong channels. But I'm happy to share with you that ARM finally gets a better valuation now, right? After so many months, right? If my memory serves me well, it's about nearly 1 year, nearly 1 year, and then the valuation is very high. That means few hundreds for the PE. Remember at the time for Nvidia, it's few hundreds. Now it's just something like 60 something. But for ARM, it's going down very, very slowly. That means, what does it mean? It means the profit came in, but the expenditure is still very high, right? And the profit came in is not fast enough to lower the value. And that means then if we buy the stock or consider we buy this company of ARM, then you are paying maybe 10 times more expensive than it should be, right? So it's not worth. But now ARM has a better valuation, right? And we know that then if you want to make the high-end chips, then you have to use ARM is and software, but very, very complicated, right? Without without that, sorry, then you can't make high-end chips, right? So that is an monopoly, right? So I'm happy to share with you that ARM has a better valuation now. Then if it goes down to something like 80 something, then I will buy it. I will buy the stock for long term. When I say long term, that means 3 to 5 years. Right? Not like Warren Buffett said is for 10 years, 20 years, I don't know, right? That is too long a time, right? Okay, then our Faircon portfolio been 119%, right? Now, the US stock market is, I think is something like ratifying itself because it's going too high, right? After the post-election of Trump, that is what they call the term post-election, post-election, right? Okay, then if for any of you then have anything you want to ask, then you can leave your message under the YouTube or you can directly email to me by usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. This is our cover. ARM has a better valuation now, right? I think now Dow Jones, or no matter it's Dow Jones index or Nasdaq index, I think they are ratifying itself, right? Because it rose too sharply for the past 1 or 2 weeks, right? After Trump being elected and waiting to be the next president of US in January 20. So I'm not scared when it go down maybe few hundred points per day, few hundred points per day, something like that, right? So yesterday Dow Jones also dropped it. Few days already, 200 points. And Nasdaq also dropped it by 123, right? I'm not scared on that, right? Because then they need to ratify themselves. Our Falcon 350,000 portfolio been down a little bit for to 119%, 119%. Then that's the news, right? Dow drops 200 points as post-election, what they call is post-election rally. I think that's what it is, all right? Anything that need to wait for Trump to become the next president, and then we know that in coming Thanksgiving, or I'm sorry, Black Friday, and then for Christmas and New Year, then the market will not perform so good. Then we know that, right? And then another news. Powell said the Fed doesn't need to be in a hurry to reduce interest rate. That means a lot of people is predicting in December Fed will cut further 0.25% of the interest rate. That may not happen. right? Honestly, I tell you, then I seldom guess, right? Because many years before, when I first came into U.S. stock market, and there are two variables, right, every day on news. One is the Fed interest rate, and the another one is the oil price. I used to predict on that time, and later on I found out that the hit rate is 50 or 40% something. That means that it's useless, right? If you have 50% right, that means you have 50% is wrong, right? That means it's something like a pure guess. So I'm seldom guess now, unless then it's very concrete or very solid, right? So may not have interest rate cut in December, maybe next year, and next year then maybe power will go on, right? Maybe power will go on, we don't know, right? So we have to see that. Another one is for the EV tax credit. That means Trump's transition team. What means aims to kill Biden EV tax credit from the Reuters? That means no more tax, no EV tax, and it changed to if say China, you want your EV cars to be sold in US, you have to make the car in US, all right? Maybe more than 80% of all the components, and you have to hire US laborers, blah, 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 something like that, right? Otherwise, then not the tax tariff problem, not that problem. Yes, no cars from China can be admitted to go into US, right? Maybe that is also not for China. Maybe that is also for Europe, maybe for the others, we don't know, right? So that is what Trump make a lot of businessmen on countries nervous, that because we don't know what he is thinking, he may change, right? He may always change like that, right? That is what the meaning said. China's retail sales beat forecast, right? But the real estate worsened. And from their figures, then the retail sales grew by 4.8% from a year-on-year base, right? I don't know, right? I'm just looking at the figures. I don't know is a real figures or not, right? But the investment in the real estate for from January to October, right? That means all the time in 2024 fell well by 10%. 10.3% is very bad, right? On the other side, on the contrary, right, for Japan's GDP expand by 0.3%, that's good, right? Because the last two quarters is only 0.2, something like that, right? So it's good for Japan. And I don't want to check the pronunciation of this again, right? Hyundai, right? Motor from Korea, and she just changed the CEO. That's on US, right? That's on US, right? Effective from next year. We can see that the stock price not performing very well, right? Then she has to change because there is a lot of changes after Trump be the next president, right? A lot of things changes, and they cannot lose U.S. market. It's a very important market for them, right? So that's what she is doing. Okay, then we come to and this is a snail, right? In the past nearly 1 year, not exactly 1 year, but nearly 1 year, then the valuation of ARM is recovering very slowly, right? Look at Nvidia or even look at AMD, right? Their PE ratio dropped quite quite quickly from 1 quarter to 1 quarter to 1 quarter. But for ARM, very slow. But the stock price always keep at very high level. And finally, there's better news. I just put the circle for you. See that? Now the PE ratio is 225. Remember, few months before is over 300. So it performs quite well, right? But still too high for me. But we see the light, right? You can see that then in the right hand side of the stock price, then we can see that from their going public is something like 50 to now is 136, right? And the price, we know that she drops. She drops from 190, right, down to now, but still very high. Still very high, right? And there is a good news that now it dropped to less than 300, 225. See that is the current quarter is 2025 Q2. This is the current quarter. Revenue growth and then the ACV. ACV means annual contract value. That means the orders you take, right, from the customers. We can see that for the increment, that is a growth, right? The growth of the revenue for this quarter is very slow, probably because of US, right? Because US banning on China. But we can see that the annual contract value still keeping. Not very bad, not very good, not very bad. And then that shows you for some very valuable software, right? Like the Java, remember that Java, MySQL, right? Redis, they are very important software, and they still keep it now. So for ARM, they have the privilege, right? They have the patent, so you have to use them. Otherwise, if you want to manufacture for high-end chips, no way, right? No way. It's just like you have to construct roadmap of a city on something very very small, very small, just more like half your fingernail into the cell phone, something like that. So without this software, you can't do it, right? So now we can say that she is monopoly. She is monopoly. And I learned from the internet that that program is very, very complicated, right? It can be now is because from maybe 20 years, right? Accumulated for 20 years, just like the Adobe, right? You cannot do it in one day. It has to be accumulated, right? So it's not replaceable. And then there is the good news is no matter is a desktop together plus the notebook, right? From this year to 4 years later, the CAGR is every year 44% increment, probably because of the AI computer. Right now we call it AI computer. You have to change, right? Change to what I'm using now is a traditional one, right? Traditional one, old one, no AI, no AI function. Then now if you buy a new notebook or desktop, probably then you get AI program inside already, right? But we can say that for the notebook, it's growing, the green color, and for the desktop, still growing, but the quality is much less than the notebook, right? That's what it is. And then for the AI capable share of total PC shipment, woo, right? Growing like that, right? That is the sharp points for ARM, right? That means then if you have to use the AI, right, you have to use high-end chips, and then you have to use the software or ARM. No other choice. See that, right? That is from 5 years before, 5 years before to 2024, and then predict to 2027. We can see that from the prediction, right? Intel is dropping, right? That means the CPU made by Intel is dropping. AMD is dropping, but ARM is increasing, right? Maybe from NVIDIA, I don't know. Maybe from NVIDIA, a lot of manufacturer now can do the CPU, not only Intel, right? And that is amazing, right? From March of this year, the revenue grew by 23.2%, and the date with an E, it means estimated, right? Not real, right? But with A means an actual. We can see that the revenue, CAGR, earnings per share, free cash flow, if it will be, then it's very, very nice, right? Because the CAGR is more than 20%. So this is for 2025 Q2, but it's now doesn't matter, right? They have their own count on the financial year. See that, right? To 2024 September, and then the non-GAAP earnings per share beat, and then the revenue beat the expectation. We can see that for the net profit margin is what we mean, right? 12.68%, increased more than double, because a lot of money need to spend, right? And the revenue increased by 4.71%, and the net income increased by nearly a double, nearly twice, right? This is very obvious, right? You can see that from Q1 to current Q2, the total revenue decreased, right? You can see that broken lines is the total, right? And the royalty income increased, right? Royalty, that means the patent. But the license and other revenue decreased, probably because of China, right? Because you are spending China. And then this shows you the dark color ARMv9 is the most advanced, most advanced chips that pays the order to use the ARM, right? They have different prices you have to pay to ARM, right? Increasing, see that, increasing. And then the older one, ARMv7, decreasing, the light color, right? The middle one is also decreasing. That means very easy. The most advanced one get more. They need to place more order on that, and the old one gradually decreasing. And the happy thing is you can see that is a forward PE, not a real PE now. The PE now is 225. If this situation and the annual contract value continue, that means this good condition continue, and the PE maybe in coming half year down to 86. If 86, then I will buy the stock. Yes, I think it's fair for them. But for anything over 100, I won't do it. It's too expensive, right? And I won't wait for them to 30. If they down to 30, that means not a growth stock already, right? So we have to be think about it. If it down to something like 20 or 30, that means not a growth stock already, maybe P&G, something like that, right? And then that is what I want to share with you. And I will have more details analyzed on ARM in Hong Kong's paid version. So then we'll share in that area. Okay, thanks guys for watching, and like, comment, share is welcome, and then please subscribe, and then I will share with you on next Friday. All right, see you guys on next Friday. Have a very peaceful weekend. Bye bye.